Mr. Brill, tell us how Spooktacular came off.
Mr. Mayor, Council, thank you very much for having me. Already up, awesome. Okay, so the Spooktacular was sort of an idea spawned by the recognition, as we saw very well with the Grand Illumination, that Ashland does very well with events. But on a day-to-day basis, the retail merchants and restaurants in Ashland tend to struggle. So the conceptual idea was to create a series of, how do we do this? There we go. The conceptual idea was to generate foot traffic and sales by creating a series of smaller events, maybe we call them micro events, to draw media attention and crowds every single weekend from September 26th to October 31st. And the reason for the 26th date is that we had some existing events. We were lucky enough to get the Bowman Body experience here in Ashland, which was actually 2 dates. It was August 8th for the filming of the event, and then the 26th of September for the actual showing of the movies. This is my second year doing the Haunted History Tour. We already had the Beer Festival at the Hanover Arts Activities Center scheduled, and the Harvest Run and Pumpkin Walk. So the idea was to find openings in the calendar where there wasn't anything happening and to create something just to give people an excuse to come to town and have some fun. Tiny Tim's Toys did the Lego Star Wars brunch at Ashland Coffee and Tea. We created a monster walk on October 10th. On October 25th, that weekend, Hickory Creek Antiques and the Shift Rope Antique Store sort of teamed up for a What's Hiding in Your Attic kind of sort of spooky theme, but not really a spooky event. Shift Rope had mahjong lessons, and Hickory Creek had some special giveaway prizes. And then we had the finale on October 31st, which was the Halloween Spooktacle. So we printed 10,000 flyers to promote this. And part of the idea was to start by creating an environment for the town, basically area decor. I've done this many years at King's Dominion, where we put up corn shocks and hay bales and stuff. And so the first challenge is, well, where do you get the corn from? I know the Lloyds at Lloyd Family Farm, and I asked them, once we got permission from the town and from Virginia Power, which was very cooperative. Once I called them, they had an answer for being 24 hours that they would let us decorate the poles. So we went out to the Lloyd Family Farm. That was Joe Mondahar and I, and gathered up a lot of corn. It was 2 trailers and a pickup truck load full of corn, and started putting it all around town. And the idea was to start all the way down at Minivan and Old Town Bicycles, just create a sort of a gateway coming into town. So this took a lot of time of going by and talking to business owners and selling the idea of what we were doing and getting permission to decorate the mums and pumpkins around town. Some of them were decorated, donated from Ashland Ace Hardware, some from Ashwood Nursery. So this was the entranceway, and there you see my little, if I can go backwards here. Anyway, that was my little spooky bicycle for the Haunted History Tour. And then here's some of the ways that this turned out. So basically we created a foundation of corn and hay, and then the individual business owners came and accentuated with their own decor. So some, the Edward Jones is in the middle, over on the left there, that's Home Aids by Suzanne. That's the Home Energy Store on the right. So by adding pumpkins, gourds, flowers, mums, it created a lot of variety, but there was a continued sort of a theme. And actually I ran into Faye, I think it was the day of the Spooktacular, and you told me you had seen similar thing in Chicago, I believe it was?
Absolutely right in the middle of all the retail is exactly that kind of layout in Chicago.
So we're trending well. We even did the front of the police station. I thought that it would add some levity and really create more of a community feel for it. And then what was really fun was seeing places like McKinney put up the little skeletons on their doors. So things really started popping up all over town. It was very very fun. And then so starting in August, we had the Bowman Body thing. This is an actual clip of Bowman Body from 1970-something, and that is Bill Bowman on the right as the Bowman Body and Tom Blaylock on the left as the Mummy. And that was the Bowman body set in the back. It was a very simple thing, just sort of painted stonework. And what I did is I took that stone pattern and projected it onto styrofoam and actually carved the stonework into a similar pattern. And it wound up looking like that. And what was really neat is, when you think about things when you're a kid and they always seem so much bigger than they really were, well, people actually, when they saw that, that's how they remembered the set. And people thought we had found the original set and brought it in. So that was really fun. And there's even I don't know if it'll go backwards here. That's all right. Don't worry about that. But even that vampire portrait, you can't see Brill, but it's on the right there, was reproduced from the original set. And Bill Moban, when he saw it, that he was like, where the heck did you get that? And that was a little bit of digital forensics to create that. This was the morning of August 8th at the Ashland Theater, 9:30 in the morning, getting ready to film the first episode of Shock Theater. That's clipped from the actual show itself. So there's the Bowman body in front of his coffin. There he is holding a Sugar Fix Bakery cookie. That was really fun because people were going next door during the breaks and getting cookies from Sugar Fix. And they've been really wonderful about tying their cookies in thematically to whatever happens to be going on in Ashland. That's really neat because there's always a Sugar Fix Bakery cookie for whatever is current in town. During the actual showing of the movie on September 26th, that's Bill Bowman with his daughter Casey, and so he was signing autographs, and so that was just a really great nostalgic kind of a thing. And even Tom Blaylock, who played the original Mummy, came back to reprise the role. Then on October 10th, we did the Monster Walk, and this was just Carytown's been doing a zombie walk for 10 years. They're up into the hundreds, if they haven't broken 1,000 people yet on their zombie walk, and so. I just put it out there they have a Facebook page, and I just put it out there seeing if they would be interested in starting a zombie walk here in town. And people wanted to know if they could do other monsters besides zombies. And we're like, well, sure, what you guys want to do? And so we had about 20 people show up, and it was really fun. We just walked around town and went into some of the shops. There we are in Cross Brothers, and we were down at Fin and Feather in the shop before that. And so this stuff, this is a Herald Progress photo. So we were getting attention here. The same day, one of the guys interested in the Monster Walk owns a hearse, Jesse Haley, and he provided the hearse in front of the movie theater when we did the Bowman body thing. And he said, hey, can we get a monster car show going? So we had hearses and little funerary stuff. It was just a lot of fun. This was out in front of the England Street Tavern end of Ashland Town Center. So it generated a lot of visual interest. And because we were doing a car show, looking for a sponsor, I went by and I talked to Haskins. Actually, Randy, who's the guy in the holding the head over there, he had contacted me telling me that Haskins wanted to be involved in the event. So I said, hey, you guys want to sponsor it? So we actually did 5,000 flyers for the Monster Walk with Haskins as a sponsor. And so I thought this was a great, crazy little zombie car with Haskins Collision on there. Then we had talked about the trolley, so we wound up getting the trolley thanks to Main Street Association, put up half the money. Sweet Frog did 200, and then there were a number of other businesses that chipped in. It was like $50 a piece, and so we came up with the money for the trolley. And here I am with the trolley driver, and it was really neat. There it is behind the library, and here it is driving through town. The idea was to use the trolley to just connect the Ashland Town Center end of the retail business with the railroad tracks, because I know talking to some folks down there that they feel isolated, that a lot of attention is focused on the tracks themselves. So the idea was to really try to unite, the businesses as much as possible. Everything, like I said, all the way down to, Old Town Bicycles and Minivan were involved in the decor. We even got Bank of America to let us decorate their posts. And then on Halloween Day, we had the actual Spooktacular, the finale. So we had Robinson Street closed. At any given time, there were probably 50-ish people there. I'd say over the course of the event, which was from 2 to 4, there were probably 200 people in and out there. But people were having a good time. We had Brunswick stew. There's my wife, Jody, who's Panarch Studios. She showed up as the witch stirring the stew. Jezebel's had some product outside. There's the kids getting ready for the parade. Kate giving Tree Depot was the White Witch from Narnia, which was neat because Whistle Stop Theater Company is currently doing Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So that was a nice little tie-in to that. And there she is getting ready to start the parade. We had a cornhole game going. It was like fun because there were things for kids to do during the day. We even had the Pink Panther, which was awesome, from Home Energy Store. That was a neat little story how that came about. But and then we had the pumpkin drop, which Home Energy Store did that also. Basically, it's a foam pumpkin that they made full of candy, and instead of being a piñata, we didn't actually break it; just had a trap door on the bottom. And that little girl there in the red, you might be able to see her in another picture. But you can see that it was a pretty exciting thing there. But she had a basket, and she caught most of the candy because she had the basket. But what was neat is that she went around and gave it to the kids that couldn't reach. So she made sure everybody had gotten some. And then the stores themselves had adopted storybook themes. So Hickory Creek Antiques had Belle from Beauty and the Beast. And so they had folks over there. Sugar Fix Bakery did Hansel and Gretel. Schifferobe. And they had trick-or-treaters going in and out. The stores were actually giving out candy. So this actually drew people into the store. So just like the Monster Walk, we were actually walking in and out of the stores. This actually drew people into the stores because of the candy. And so the overall results of this are just on social media alone, on our Experience Ashland VA Facebook page. In the 28 days of October, we had 50,000 organic impressions. So that means none of this was paid for. This was all natural reach of people interested in what we were showing. There were 28 days, so 50,000 impressions, an organic reach of 10,000. And the week after Halloween, we had 8,000 post clicks on that Facebook page. So it got a lot of attention. So some of the press we got, we were in style. This Reaching New Heights is out of Petersburg. This Bowman Body thing was really a statewide. It was actually a national event. It got a lot of attention. We had local press. Every time we did something, the Monster Walk, even putting up the corn decorations, all these things were drawing media attention. And then finally, we had the Spooktacular itself, and I think that headline really says it right there. First Spooktacular proves successful. So I think that's the end of that. And I have a few things here that people have written. So, like I said, we had 10,000 of these flyers, 5,000 of these flyers, 50,000 impressions. So just from 3 of the store runners here. This is from Hickory Creek Antiques, Jan Walker. October was great for us with all the chatter of what we were doing, with including the light post being decorated, the police station, plus the bike shop. We should try next year to include the restaurant and the hotels and other businesses throughout the town of Ashland. Halloween night was slow, but that was okay. Gave us time to get ready for Christmas the next day. November wasn't a good one for us. It was okay, but nothing big, even on train day. We did less this year than we did last year on train day. Most of the folks we had were because I sent out 1,000 cards, invited them for our Christmas open house, plus word of mouth and cards we passed out. Seems things were good in October because we had decorations, had lots of chatter about our events in the month. Some of the businesses chipped in. We had a trolley. Ashland Business, just think Ashland Business needs to pull together and decorate the entire town along Route 1 up to 95 and back, because we all need to be included in everything that happens in Ashland. So that's Hickory Creek Antiques. Sugar Fix Bakery. October Spooktacular was a great event, and Halloween Day proved to be a success in Ashland thanks to all the hard work and events that were planned and led up to Halloween. Not only was it a lot of fun, but the sales that day were record sales. Thank you again, Arthur, for taking your time, and thanks to the EVA group, too. Can't wait for next year to come. And Home Energy Store. Traditionally, October sales are nothing to write home about at Home Energy Store. It's usually the quiet before the storm month. As we closed out November, it dawned on me that October sales were higher than November, which for a moment puzzled me. While there was only a $685 difference between the 2 months, you have to take into account a major factor. October has no holiday that is known to generate retail sales, with the exception of the candy and Halloween costume retail business. Even with Train Day, Black Friday, and Small Business Saturday, November sales fell behind October. The light bulb went on in my head. Spooktacular really boosted retail traffic in Ashland. I believe having organized smaller events planned every weekend in October generated more retail traffic than November's 2 or 3 large events, of which one of those is Train Day, is a more family-driven event than retail. So I think that shows that paying attention to the smaller events. I think one of the challenges we have is when we focus on these really, really big events, sometimes we're not looking at how just getting ready for the big events can negatively impact things in the time leading up to that. And I had a conversation with Doug Goodman about the no parking signs that were placed on the fall decor almost 2 weeks before Halloween, and it did say November 7th on there with no parking for train day, but it was so small that people were driving by, and there were a couple of nights I came through town and nobody was parked on the streets. When I was doing the haunted history tour, I got a couple of phone calls from people asking me where to park because they said there were no parking signs everywhere. So I think we have some challenges to look at and see how we can understand the reasoning behind putting them up that early, but I think we can also look at maybe ways to lessen the impact of doing that sort of thing. So that's what I have.
Thank you. Questions for Arthur?
Well done.
Well done.
Thank you for all the effort.
Thank you.